Hi, everyone. This is Kevin Myles of Team Bodysport Fitness and Bodysport.coach, and I am back with the amazing Miss Lenny Colarusso. Hi, Lenny.
How are you? How's
Lenny,
everybody
if
out
you're
there in school land?
Lenny, if you recall, is the founder creator of the Five Pillars of Everlasting Health and Wellness, Five Pillars of Lenny, and she's done a lot of amazing things. We won't get into a lot of the details on that because there's an article on Lenny that we did, and there's a video prior to this that we did about some of her training and nutrition stuff. And I promised to follow up on some more specific nutrition details. So that's what this is. And this is for school. And we'll also do this for YouTube so to get it out there more. So I haven't talked to you in a bit. So how's things been going for you? Just do a quick catch up on that. Everything
Okay,
good? I saw some good
good.
videos
I
you put
mean,
up with some of your lifting.
yeah, my new PR I want to get to is 240 in the deadlift. I'm gonna start working up towards that again. Because I kind of, I do heavier lifting, then I kind of slack off a little bit. I had a little bit of a health thing going on. I was giving blood every 2 months, and then my iron just and it was really elevated. So the doctor said you can give blood, makes sense. And I do everything like a lot. So I was like, oh, I'm helping people. I'll do every 2 months. So for almost a year, I did that. And I just made weight. You have to be about 110. And my weight kind of fluctuates. It's like between 109, 115, something like that. So, but they don't weigh you, they just ask, and they're happy to get the blood. So I started feeling very lethargic, I couldn't breathe like
Mm,
on any exertion or anything. So I actually now have to take iron supplement. And I'm not giving blood, and I'm starting to feel better. So I'm feeling more energetic and more powerful. So I want to start working up to the 240. I'm not in any like time restriction, but they're like little games, games people play. Duh, duh. So yeah, but it's all good. It's all good. Everything's
cool.
good.
So we will tell people like introduce yourself as far as what you do, some of your credentials and your age, which you're proud of and you should be because you look amazing for like even if you cut your age in half. So
Well, when I say my age, it's not because I feel like I look younger, because I don't. But I feel better today than I did when I was probably in my 30s or 20s. So I'm 61 and I have 5 children. And I'm an RN, holistic health coach. Mostly now, I do nutritional counseling online with people, and I train some about 5 clients personal training. So I have a gym in my basement, and I go to one person's house. I don't normally do that, but I love her, so I go there. And I've done that for like 26 years. So I'm kind of sort of weaving my way out of that, but not really. I don't see me ever stopping training these people. When you have a job and it's not really your job because you love it. So I don't think of it that way. And I have a nutritional cert, and then I've been doing nutritional counseling since COVID online, because that's the direction we all had to go into, is doing things online. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a yoga teacher, and I'm a registered nurse. So that's that. Those are my credentials. And yeah, and I met Kevin how many years ago? We always do this,
yeah,
like five,
six, seven,
5 years.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I talk about you like today. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a podcast with Kevin. I just love him. I never met him in person, but you're a good seed. You're a good guy.
Thank you. I try. I try. So I know how dedicated you are and like the the 5 pillars of Lenny, which is in the classroom if you're in school. If you're not in school, you can take a free trial and check out the 5 pillars of Lenny. But it's principles Lenny has used to set her life into the place that she wants as far as longevity and health and wellness and how she feels and how she looks and how she helps her clients, and it's a foundation for her. And I wanted to talk more about your nutrition because you're really dedicated to nutrition. That's one of the underlying principles of your success. And if most people did what you did, they'd be a lot better off. But it's if it was that easy, then other people maybe would follow suit. But I wanted to use you as an example of what is possible and what can result from doing what you do. And just, again, and like you said, this is your philosophy, and it's what you do, and it's not what everyone's going to do. But I'd love to hear you tell everyone how you approach nutrition and what you do.
Well, why nutrition is so, I'm sorry, I want to wipe my nose off the camera. But anyway, hi, I'm back. Um, why nutrition is so important. It is your foundation, right? You are what you eat. And that is so true. You're not only what you eat, but you're what your food eats. I will have to say that I was vegan, vegetarian for, oh my God, probably like 17, 18 years. And 5 years ago, I want to say it's maybe it's not that long. I would say I'm more animal based, but I don't like to label my diet. And for me, diet is just a word. It's just the way I eat. It's the way Kevin eats. It's the way my husband eats. We all have, there's not a one size fits all, but nobody can dispute the fact that we are what we eat, right? So for me, just like you said, this is something that I do. Um, I came from a background where I had an eating disorder from 16 to 22, and it almost killed me. I almost died from it. Trigger warning, I'm sorry. Uh, so I had, is that all right to talk about or
That's
no?
perfectly fine to talk about.
Right. So I came from that. I was anorexic. I became bulimic, severely bulimic. And I got married when I was 21. I was still bulimic and I wanted to get pregnant and I wasn't getting pregnant. And of course, the first thing that came to my mind was that, even though actually it wasn't that, but I won't get into that today. Um, had to get myself out of that demon of bulimia. And it was one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my whole life. But that's why I feel like through that adversity, I'm the kind of person that I am today, that I feel like, you really have to get through adversity in your life to really appreciate life in general. So I wouldn't take anything back. But what I learned from that, and back then you would go to library, you would sit and study. So I tried to study um, what affects the brain and how I can help myself. Not only was I bulimic, but I was a secret bulimic, where it wasn't something that we talked about. It wasn't something like today you hear about eating disorders a lot. But back then, it was huge secret. My husband never knew about it. Um, my family, I have a huge family of 10 siblings. They didn't know about it. My parents didn't know about it. So it was devastating. So what I learned was primarily fat is what was going to feed my brain and help my mood and all of that. And I'm not talking that this was an overnight thing or that it was easy. I didn't have help then, but I would definitely say therapy is wonderful. I did go to therapy later, but there's so many factors. So actually, coconut oil was something that was promoted for saturated fat. And it was really scary to incorporate that because, of course, I'm going from, getting triggered by eating one potato chip to I was never nourishing my body. for 6 years during those crucial years of my life, 16 to 22, there wasn't any nutrition going into my body. So, starting on that path, I learned the connection between food and mental health. Like, huge component is how your brain operates. So, the fact that I could work my way to feeling satiated, eating whole food with fat, with, not being afraid of it. And again, this was not an overnight thing. And back then, we did not have phones. So it wasn't like I could go on my phone and say, okay, this day is done. I actually had a calendar on the wall and I would cross off, okay, I didn't throw up today. I didn't throw up today. I would have nightmares of thinking I did. I would wake up in a cold sweat. Oh my God, did I throw? Because it was such an addiction. So I might not have had a drug addiction or anything like that, but it was an addiction and it did almost kill me. So, yeah, so it was an everyday thing. And eventually that's why that was number one pillar is your nutrition. It's what you're putting into your body. That's if you feel satiated, you're not looking for snacks. You're not looking for the sweets. And I'm not saying that, for myself personally, I am not like one of these people where um you can't have a cheat day, or I don't need a cheat day though. And I'm being very real. It's like I'm not just blowing smoke up people's butts. I don't need it because I feel satiated. I'm not tempted. I don't want it because when you're eating real food and you're feeding yourself, the problem is it takes time. And that's one of the pillars, consistency and discipline. So it's not an everyday thing, right? People will do nutritional counseling with me and they'll be in like a month or maybe 2 months, and it'll be like they're losing their patience, right? And my comeback is, well, how long did it take you to get to this point in your life? It could have taken them 30, 40 years to get to a point where they're working with me. Now I work with older, 50, 60, 70. I have one client who's 86. So it's like they're older. So you figure 40 years and they want something that's gonna nutrition and consistency and discipline. If it was easy, everybody would be able to have it, right? So that's what it takes. And I've been eating more animal based probably for 4 years, 5 years, maybe. I'm not sure. I have it marked on my phone, but I'm not sure how long it's been. But this has been the diet for me that gives me strength, helps me to sleep soundly, helps my mood. Because if you're eating a diet that consists of a lot of processed food and artificial sweeteners and high sugar content, um, your mood's going to be like all over the place. You're not going to sleep soundly. I happen not to drink alcohol. Today's 600 days without alcohol. I'm really proud of that. And I didn't have a problem, but, and I don't judge people who have alcohol, but for me, I wanted to 100% walk the walk and talk the talk. So that's just how I roll, you know.
Awesome.
And it
Awesome.
is my whole life, Kevin. It's it used to be where my husband be like, people aren't like you, hun. People, I think I've spoken to you about this, where like I'll have clients and it's not cheap to have personal training, and I wouldn't get it. It would be like they'd spend the money and they'd cancel, but they knew they were still being charged, or even with the nutrition, and I'd be like, hey, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Well, people they're just not. So I accept that. I accept that. I wouldn't want another Lenny because I'm over the top. Like I wouldn't want to be friends with somebody like me. So a little weird and a little over the top. but it's just my whole life. I mean, I eat, sleep, and dream health and wellness. I really do. I mean, if you're a fly on my wall, it'd be pretty boring.
Boring is effective, and that's great stuff. And no, I relate to it's your lifestyle and it's who you are, and it's not even like the part about it not being willpower anymore. It's just it's important enough for you to do, and people do different things. Like you, I don't drink. I never have. It's just something I didn't want to go in that direction. But people, there's a lot of people that do, and they just have to like understand what that does or does not do for them and manage it appropriately. And yeah, I know what you're saying about it's the information sometimes isn't the only thing, and people can get that information and still not still have a failure to launch. And we've all seen that many times as far as that person paying for something and then not following through. And also in the classroom is a course I did called Seven Solutions for Fitness Transformation. And I talk about the first really two factors for that is knowing and understanding how important you are, and then understanding how important fitness is. And a lot of people don't have those two things. And so they don't prioritize themselves or their fitness or their health, and they won't take those steps to do those things that Lenny may have you want to do, that you know you should do, but you haven't prioritized yourself or your health or your fitness enough to actually go through that. Those are mindset things. And so that's another thing that you guys can access to help you with that. And but once you're there on the other side of it, it's just what you do. So it's not like I remember being in college even and going out for pizza with my buddies, and I'd had pizza like a few nights before. So it's like, okay, I'll eat one piece of pizza and I'm good. And they're like thinking it was tempting to me, and it was never a temptation. I just didn't care. And things that
Hmm.
it wasn't on my path. It was just what was for me. Now that's not always the case. And unlike you, I do love sweets, and I still have these things that you have to manage and navigate yourself through. But everyone, like she says, has their own journey and their own path and their own starting point. I wanted to ask you, like, what are some of the typical food items that you regularly eat and incorporate? I know what some of them there are as far as the grass-fed beef, and there's things that you go into and why, and I'd love for you to tell everyone about that.
Okay. And again, disclaimer, it's just what I do. And to me, the food isn't boring, but to the layperson it might be. But I think a lot of people in this classroom are fitness oriented and health oriented. But I actually did a TikTok like what I eat. And sometimes it makes it easier to be boring because just like a lot of people like to do intermittent fasting, which I don't do anymore right now. I just my preference. I've done it many times, but it makes it easier. You don't have to pack anything for your job or whatever, and you know exactly what you're going to eat when you get home. Um, I like boring. So yeah, I eat some kind of grass finished meat every day at dinner. It could be a beef tenderloin. It could be a New York strip. Actually, I love ground beef, and it's cheaper to get ground beef grass finished. I get like a 80/20 and a 93/7, and we mix it together. And I have 12 ounces at night. I'll have avocado. I have lots of corn and soy free eggs that I order from a farm. And the reason that's so important to know where your eggs come from is what these chickens are eating. If they're eating soy and corn, the eggs can be high in omega 6s, which we need omega 6, but most people are walking around with a huge imbalance because they're eating processed food and all of that. So their omega 6s up here, their omega 3s are down here, and their inflammation is off the charts. So they're complaining about stiff joints and the gut inflammation and not being able to sleep. Well, take a look at your omega 3 to omega 6 ratio. I actually had blood tests to see how mine was, and it's perfect. It's really good. But the eggs from this particular farm, you want me to name it or no?
If you want to.
They're great. Miller's Bio Farm. I do go and pick up my food at a place now because the delivery got expensive, but I get 12 dozen at a time. They're delicious. Don't go by the yolk. That doesn't matter, but I'm not going to get into that. But they have all the tests on the omega 3s and omega 6, and their ratios are amazing. So I eat 7 eggs a day in the morning, usually after I work out. 7 eggs, and I cut up 4 organic big medulli dates. I cut them, make them small. I use raw butter from Miller's Biofarm also in a cast iron pan. And oh my God, my mouth is watering now, and you might hear my stomach growl because, oh, I love it. So I have that, and I eat every single morsel. I do have with my organic espresso. I love a good espresso in the morning before I work out. That's my pre-workout. I have that. So I have 2 cups, 2 espressos, and I have a really nice machine, and I get really good beans. And then I do have a bar with my espresso, and it's usually called the Equip Prime bar. It's by Equip. So it has like 20 grams of protein. It's made out of whey protein, beef, maybe beef protein. So I have that. And I have, let's see, or um, right now I'm eating Painter Sisters whole fat Sky yogurt, which if you guys don't know it, SKYR, it's higher in protein. Oh my God, it is so delicious. Very expensive though, so it's plain, and it has great protein in it. And I mix my raw honey in there, and I eat that. And I have lots and lots of organic frozen Costco blueberries. That's about it.
That's cool. Yeah, I've heard
You
of that
know,
yogurt.
I'm trying to think.
I think
Honestly,
that
that's
yogurt's like Scandinavian or something like that. I heard of that. I heard it's really good and it's super high
oh
in
my God,
protein.
it
And
is so good. So good. And sometimes I'll order raw Greek yogurt and raw kefir from the farm. So I'll have that, comes in glass bottles. So I'll have that. Those are great for protein, and the kefir is really good for the gut. It's fermented. So yeah, so honestly, people might be like, "Don't you get bored?" No, I never get bored. I swear, I don't.
and
And
you
I've been
know,
eating like this for a long time.
it works for you, and that's the thing. You found what works for you, and like I am of the belief that there's no magical foods that you have to limit yourself to. You can have a wide variety, but sometimes that just overcomplicates things for people.
Well,
And I've
that's what I
had people
meant.
tell me,
Yeah,
"You gave me too many choices, Kevin." It's just confusing, and so it's some people do better by just limiting the things that they eat and staying consistent with that. And so, and just like training, when you hear Lenny talk about her diet or someone talk about nutrition, and she tell you this if she're working with you, it's like you can't look at her program, workout program, or my workout program, and you're just starting out saying, okay, I'm going to go work out X number of days a week like he does, or X number of days a week like she does, and do this, do that, whatever. You have to start from where you are, and you start from just
exactly.
making improvements within what you're doing. And there's a lot of different diet strategies out there, but the one that's going to work the best is the one you can stay with the most in compliance. And if you're trying to lose weight, then it's a caloric balance thing, but also you need your diet, which is how you eat, like she says, to also be responsible for fueling your body for energy, recovery, health, nutrients, and all different types of things. So it's more of an eating lifestyle. So don't make it be like a period of starvation. Use this information as a guideline and say, okay, there's some great options. I want to look at that, whatever. But like if you're having, a dozen cookies a day, then if you cut down to 4 cookies 3 times a week, you just improve your diet a lot. So you start from where you are, eliminate some things that you know are problematic for you, and then go from there. We could talk about diet strategies later, but
And that's exactly, I'm sorry, but that's exactly what I do with people. I don't give them a diet. I don't do that. So what they do is they'll give me what they eat. And just like you said, if I gave them something and they were thinking, No, I don't even like meat, or I don't even like whatever. And I'm saying, but well, this is the best way. I mean, look at me. And no, that's not going to work. So what I do is I see what they like, and then we see, okay, this may be a better choice. Or just like your cookie thing, you start out small, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. So things are not going to stick if we try to do things fast. And again, didn't take them a month to get to this position. They've been eating like that for 30, 40, 50 years. So low and steady wins the race, right? So they're eating 10 cookies. Can we try and get down to 5 cookies and take it from there? Like a big thing with me, I'm not a fan of artificial sweeteners. That's just my preference. But if you're having all these things in your coffee, can we start lessening it a little bit? That's just how small of an increment I'll do, is because coffee to people, like for me, it's a huge deal in the morning. My espresso, I love it. It's my whole pre-workout shit stuff. So if somebody likes their coffee with 3 artificial sweeteners in it, I'm like, can you cut it down to 2? Or can you cut it down to 2.5? That may take them a while. I mean, that's just what I'm saying. You can't you can't do things, you got to get through it. Can't go over it, can't go under it, right? With everything.
Perfectly
Everything,
correct.
it's uncomfortable with anything you approach, a relationship, working a new workout program, a new diet, a move, a marriage, whatever. It's uncomfortable, right?
Yeah,
To get
and
through that.
the beauty of that is that it comes from just you understand you're important enough to make those steps and those changes. And the tip I would give people, and what I do, it sounds like what Lenny does the same thing, is it starts with awareness. So just writing down what you're doing to become self-aware of it. You track everything you eat and drink along with the times for at least 5 days, 5 to 7 days, just to see it glaring in your face, what's there. And then you start with those things that are kind of obviously, the processed foods and the this and the that that you kind of already know, and that does a lot for you and then opens the door for you, and then from there you have now the tools to make those changes, and that gives you the opportunity to build a lifestyle, because it can't just be something that you jump into like you're holding your breath for as long as possible and it's not going to last. It's got to be something that you're shifting into, and as you start making those changes and your body starts feeling better, looking better, your energy's better, your mental clarity's better, your gut health is better, and all these things start to improve, then you start to build some momentum. Then it starts to become a lifestyle. Then it starts to be something you want to embrace more. And I always tell people, if you felt all the different things and knew all the different things that you're going to get from fitness and from following a fitness lifestyle beforehand, a lot more people would do it. But you don't really know those things until you actually experience them. And it's not just a cosmetic change. It's not just a dress size change or a pants change or how you look in the mirror. And I think if more people actually live that lifestyle and understood all the things that they got from this, it'd be easier for them to embrace it and understand why we do it, have done it for so many years, and aren't planning to stop at any time.
Never. And you fall right into what I say on my TikTok platform is, it's simple but not easy until it is. So this isn't rocket science, right? But it's hard for people to write down things. I say a month at least, because then you can eyeball, you can start not having to do that, because okay, this is many grams of protein, this is many grams of fat, this whatever, in your head. But I think it takes at least that long, in my opinion. But that becomes easy. It's simple, but not easy, because people are, if it was easy, everybody do it, right? But tracking is not hard. You have apps all over, but it's not easy for people. "Oh, I don't feel like tracking. That's a pain in the ass," the whole thing. But then, just like you said, you get to a point where it's second, whatever, and then and then it becomes easy, and then you start feeling better, and it's not all aesthetics at all, but maybe you start looking better. Maybe you feel better in your clothes. Maybe you think clearer. Maybe you're handling situations better. Maybe you're sleeping better, right? You feel more joyous. Your skin looks better. So there's so many benefits, and
Yeah.
but you just got to stick with them. So simple, but not easy until it is. That's
Yeah.
my tagline on TikTok. So,
Yeah, and you can keep, and you should definitely keep tracking and have that awareness. I'm just saying that, like for me, with I'm working with someone, at least getting that week in first. Now I got something to work with in a starting point, and then as you make those changes, you still want to see what you're doing and can keep evolving it to get to be the best it can be. But yeah, but at least a lot of people don't even have a, and I could be the same way. I could walk by food and throw something in my mouth and even think about it until you writing it down. Then you realize, oh, gee, I didn't know I had all that. And I've had clients that I work with that said, I don't know what's going on. And this, and so, well, let's look at your diet. Let's have you work. And it's, oh, that's not my diet. It can't be my diet. And then a week later said, oh gosh, yeah, okay, maybe that's what the problem is. So
yep.
yeah, and there's like you said, there's apps now to make it easy. You can just take a picture of your food and it'll do all the math for you as far as protein, carbs, fats, calories, and give you enough information that you can have some comparative way to see what direction you're going into, and then just tracking you in terms of your weight and your measurements and pictures and all those different things that help you. I wanted you to clarify real quick because you told me before, because you mentioned grass finished. Can you explain the difference between grass finished and grass fed?
All right. Well, grass fed is, yes, the animal has been fed grass, but it's not telling you how long the cow has been fed grass or the animal has been fed grass. If it's not 100%, that means they could just say the cow ate grass for a month or whatever, and then you're done. 100% grass fed or grass finish means from start to finish, it's been fed just grass. So that's the difference. So they try to get you, if believe me, if that animal was fed 100%, they would mark it down because you got to go through a lot of stuff to get to that point to be able to put that on their package. So you look for either 100% grass fed or and grass finished.
Cool.
It doesn't have to say 100% grass finished. That means grass finished means from start to finish. Does that make sense? Okay.
Perfect sense. So
And
I
you
remember
know
we were
what?
talking.
I'm not like I don't like to fear monder. I used to be like, oh my God, you got to do this, you got to do that. You got to do the best that you can. Not everybody can afford to buy grass finished meat. Not everybody can afford to buy organic. And that's another thing I do with people with nutrition. We go where they are. And I don't want to stress them out because that's another reason why people are not healthy because they're stressed. So why would I add to
Yeah.
that? And we start on the tiers. If you can't afford it, this is your second best thing, or, you know, so don't get all crazy about it.
And that's so true with all aspects of fitness. It's progress, not perfection, and you don't have to have that perfect meal with chef prepared this, that, whatever. Everything's you don't have to have the most immaculate gym. You may be in your garage with a pair of dumbbells. It may be walking, it may be climbing. It could be as modest as it needs to be. There's so many different ways for you to get progress and go in a good positive direction and do something good for yourself that's going to lead you to a better place. Just understanding that you do have the ability to do that. You are important enough. Fitness is important enough. And then getting the right mindset of I can do it, get rid of those limiting beliefs. And that information is out there. And there's people like Lenny that can help you. Um, we had a conversation a few months ago. You're like gone for the weekend and you're traveling and you're talking about managing your food situation while you're away from home. Can you talk to people about maybe what you do and then tips for them if they're commuting a lot or if they're all out for the weekend somewhere else or if they're not in their kitchen where they don't have their normal things, and how some hacks and some pre-planning or some mindset things that can help you with that?
Yeah. Well, for myself, I always get an Airbnb with a kitchen in it. So I bring my eggs, I bring chomps. I actually like beef sticks. It doesn't have to be chomps. It could be, I don't know, Archer. I think there's a brand name. So they have like 9 grams of protein in them. And it's not all about the protein, but you want to try to get your grams in your target weight in protein a day. So least 110 grams. Plus, if you're working out and you're strength training, you may want to go a little higher, but you probably don't need it. But I found mostly women have a hard time getting their protein grams for the day. So chomp bars, you can put in your cooler, like coolers. You get a cooler. I've got coolers that I bring, and I have my ice packets that I put in there, and I'll bring my eggs, I bring my butter, I bring the chomps, I bring my fruit, I'll cook, or I'll bring my ground beef. I'll make my patties before. If you are like on working and you're on the road, you bring a little cooler that you put on your. I mean, when I was in nursing school, so many years back, I've always eaten really healthy. I would just bring my cooler to nursing school, and I didn't graduate till I was 47. So this was, so I bring my cooler, and I'd have, you can cook your meat, slice it up and bring it. Um, Avocado, you can slice it up, bring it. Banana, your chomps, yogurt, you can bring yogurt. I mean, all these things are you can transport them. Even if I was on a plane, I would still bring in my knapsack my hard boiled eggs, my chomps. I mean, it takes prep, but it's not, again, it's simple, but not easy. This isn't hard. Boiling eggs isn't hard. Grabbing chomps isn't hard. Putting fruit in your thing isn't hard. I mean, unless you think it is, but I don't think it is because I know, or your protein bars. They're easy to put in there. I like Equip. They're one of the cleaner bars, Mm. but throw them all in, and I know I'm going to be full and satiated. My dates, I could throw them in. I mean, all this stuff is you're able to transfer it. I would sometimes I cook my ground beef and I put it in my glass Tupperware thing. I'll actually in my ground beef if I cook it on the cast iron pan. You don't have to add butter to that because that's fat in it. So I just cook it up and I'll chop up dates in that too. It's delicious. And I'll crack an egg in there and move it around with the dates and the egg and the ground beef. You know how much there's protein, there's carbs, there's fat from the dates, the carbs. So, I mean, and it's filling me up. My mouth is watering right now. It's so good. And it's just a matter of getting used to eating whole food, real food. Like I don't eat, I just have no desire. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, oh, she does this. No, this is something that I did it. Repetition, consistency, discipline. Same with my workout. I hate working out a lot of the times, but I do it because it has to be done. Don't think, just do it. Because if you think too much, you're going to talk yourself out of doing it. You know what I mean? So, and then when I'm done with each workout, high five,
Perfect.
another workout
And
in the books.
yeah. And that's the thing is that once you get it to be a part of a lifestyle, those steps that you take are just part of what you do. You do hard things if you're a student, you do hard things when you're working in your career. You definitely do hard things if you're a parent, you're a mom, you're taking care of your kids. We don't always do the hard things for ourselves as it relates to our health and our fitness. And so it's just getting into that lifestyle, getting into those habits. And yeah, everyone's page is going to look a little different. Like I'm more into supplements and Lenny. I like my protein shakes and stuff like that. But I make sure I have the protein that I'm going to need, which is probably the main thing I'm going to get. The carbs are a lot easier to get as far as fresh fruits and vegetables or whatever, and transport and do those things. So find what works for you, but just it's about making it a lifestyle and prioritizing it and small steps and shifting wherever you were into this now new lifestyle that's going to reflect who you want to be and reflect where you want to go, and understand that you're going to get a lot back from that. And that's huge, and that's why I admire what she does. And she said that she couldn't be friends with Lenny because one would be too much, but I think the world needs more Lennys. And I thank you for the example that you set for people. um
Thanks.
and we'll definitely do some more stuff, and some live stuff, and we want to do some live Q&A stuff for some of you. So eh, if you're in school already, you have access to so much from all of us. And check out the 5 pillars of Laney in the classroom. If you're not on school and you're seeing this on YouTube, you'll see a link in there. We're going to use actually Lenny's affiliate link, and you can go and get week free access to the Team Bodysport Fitness community. You can review our whole course for free. And if you like it, then you can become a member and do a month thing with us. If you don't, no hard feelings. But we're going to be doing more and more stuff. And I appreciate you, Lenny, for taking the time to share with everyone, and let us know what you guys think and what you want us to talk about, because we've got, gosh, combined 80 years experience of doing all this, and there's a lot of questions that we've answered many times, and things that we've gone through. And yeah, I mean, I was a junk food junkie when I was in high school. That was my shift that I had to make. And but as I changed my lifestyle, it became a lot easier. It doesn't mean I still don't have a sweet tooth, doesn't mean I still don't want things, but I also know how to, if it's not right next to me, I'm not going to go out and buy it. So there's you can come from almost anywhere and get to an amazing place. And Lenny's story is that she overcame some amazing challenges, unfortunate challenge, and still learned to thrive, and became this fitness leader and this amazing person, amazing mom, amazing wife. And so we're lucky to have her. And you guys, I hope you appreciate her being here. And I definitely appreciate you being here, Lenny. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I appreciate you. You know that. Thank
Cool.
you.
So everyone, we will see you guys next time. And train hard, grow easy, and be healthy.
Thank you. Everybody.